This Thursday will be our inaugural Pink Out game, and it's a concept that we stole from Creighton University, and essentially the first 5,000 fans into the Diddle Arena on Thursday night will get a t-shirt exactly like this, and then once they come into the game, obviously everybody will have pink t-shirts, and at the 12-minute timeout, is that correct? At the 12-minute timeout, the entire arena will stand up and will hold up a sign such as this, and it's someone that they stand for to and in the fight to help rid this terrible disease of cancer. And I think that everyone either knows someone or has a family member or they personally have been affected by cancer. And this is a great way to raise awareness, number one, raise money, number two, and also just be on the national stage in hopefully getting rid of this dreadful disease. So I'm really excited about it. Obviously, it's near and dear to me because both my mom and dad had cancer. My brother had cancer, my sister had cancer, and all of them, have beaten it. And then I've got a very good and close family friend named Jeannie Stover, who's currently fighting breast cancer. So I think we all have an opportunity to come out, not only to support the men's basketball team against FIU on Thursday, but more importantly to do our best and do our part to rid cancer of our society.
From your experience, has this been a pretty successful campaign?
Yeah, it's been fantastic. Like, one of the neat things that we do with it is every player wears a shooting shirt, and so they'll have a shooting shirt on, at the game just like this, and then, it'll have the player's number and name on the back. And so we have a live auction that opened up last Friday, and you can bid on, whoever, Tegan Moore, Dante Allen, Brandon Newman, whoever, Christian Lander, you can bid on their shooting shirt, and then after the game, that player will meet you at half court, and the shooting shirt will be given to you, and you can take photos with them and those sorts of things. We're always looking for merchandise, for the players and the connection and all that, but this money is going to go towards cancer research and to the American Cancer Society. So not only are you getting one of your favorite players' t-shirts, but you're also helping knock out cancer, hopefully.
Of course, you guys are back home. Home floor has been good to you this year, coming off a couple of loses. Is this a good time for this to be back here at Diddle?
Well, it's a great time to be home. Obviously, when you go 0-2 on the road last week and lose to New Mexico State in the fashion that you did, you want to come home to the friendly confines of Diddle. We're undefeated at home. The students are back in school, so I would expect the students to be out. And we've talked over and over about how great the fans have been. We've averaged about 5,000, 4,000 at all of the games over the Christmas break, which those are games that are usually a little less attended just because you're without students. So if we can add a couple thousand students on top of the 4,000 or 5,000 fans, we're almost at capacity. And then couple that with the fact that it's Coaches versus Cancer Week, and it's also our first annual or our inaugural Pink Out game. I think it's a pretty cool Thursday night in Bowling Green, Kentucky.
Looking back at the road trip, Christian, who's out Sunday, got hurt Thursday. What was the exact play that you got hurt in?
Yeah, Christian, somebody got beat along the baseline, and Christian came over to help and tried to block his shot and took an elbow to the eye. He's in concussion protocol, and what that means at this point, I don't know. Usually those things take a little bit of time, but obviously we've got a very good medical staff that's taking care of him. So he's in overall he's in good health, but we'll see how long it keeps him out.
Watching that New Mexico State game, you guys gave up 9 3-pointers in the second half. You guys have been this year pretty good at defending the three. What was going on in that second half?
Yeah, I mean, we've been great. I mean, obviously, we're number one in Conference USA in defending the three-point line, and we're 28 overall in the country. To be very frank with you, and I said this a little bit in the post-game press conference or post-game radio show, we got up 20, 23 points, somewhere right in there, and human nature is always hard to fight. I've talked about that up here on this podium before, and our guys got a little full of themselves, and the things that had been very good to us were the fact that we shared the ball and we didn't turn it over, and we were playing pretty good defense and limiting them to one shot. Well, for whatever reason, we got away from what was good to us, and those guys did not defend at the level that they needed to. And when you do that, you get burned. And so we certainly got burned. But that's our own fault. It's a self-inflicted wound that you have to learn from, right? And I thought that we were better at UTEP. We certainly didn't protect the basketball in the manner that we needed to, but just in terms of defense, I thought our defense is much better in the UTEP game than in the last 15 minutes of the New Mexico State game.
When you're evaluating on the defensive side of the ball, what are you looking for more? Technique or attitude on the defensive side?
It's all rolled into one. I mean, anytime you have to guard your man one-on-one, that's a personal battle, right? And so what I tell the guys all the time is, number one, you have to take pride in defending the basketball. But then you also have to have faith that your team and your teammates will be there when you do mess up. We're not going to play a perfect game, so you're going to mess up at some point. And when you do get beat, that someone's going to be there to help and stop the basketball. And then what really hurt us in New Mexico State is that someone would come over to help, and then the person who's got to help the helper did not help down, and therefore now, anytime you're in rotations on the defensive side of the basketball, you're in trouble, and so that hurt us. But I think that the majority of our defensive woes in the second half at New Mexico State were more effort and attitude, and were certainly self-inflicted.
UTEP game, you guys shoot almost 62%. But I guess the big difference there, you look at the free throws. You said it was a better defensive performance, but I guess you fouled too much in that one.
Yeah, I mean, I don't usually comment on the officials, and I've said that before. Yeah, we certainly fouled. And then, again, back to the point I made a minute ago, you have to be able to defend the basketball one-on-one without fouling. I mean, UTEP is 1, 2, or 3 in the country in fouls that they commit per game, and we end up, they flip the script on us, and we end up allowing them to get to the free throw line a lot. Yeah, that's a problem, and again, another self-inflicted wound. You turn the basketball over, you get out rebounded by one, and then you put them to the line, whatever it was, 26, 27 times in the second half, somewhere right around there. You're going to have a hard time winning basketball games. And with that being said, prior to Don getting his 4th foul, we're up 2, and it's a good ball game. So we certainly have some things that we can improve upon and clean up. But I did think that our effort on the defensive side was much better for 40 minutes in the second half than it was at New Mexico State.
Did you say Christian's going to be available this week?
I don't know at this point. Yeah, he's in concussion protocol, so we'll see.
You brought up the turnovers in that UTEP game, especially in that second half. You had 11 of them. Some of them I felt like most of them definitely could have been prevented, or they were, just minuscule errors of. Do you feel like it was just them trying to move too fast in the game, move too fast in the bed, and so how do you get the game to slow down so they don't have, those turnovers that could have been prevented?
Yeah, I don't think that the game was moving too fast as much as, you have to value the basketball, and you have to make simple plays. And instead of trying to hit a home run and throw the ball across the court through 4 people, you dribble the ball to the wing and let's get into some offense. I tell them a lot of times that if we can just hit singles, we're going to be fine. But, we don't need to hit home runs, especially when you're in control of the basketball game or you have the lead. And obviously us having the lead and maintaining the lead, has been an issue at times for us. There's been games where we've been good, but there's been some games where we've had leads and we've squandered it. And New Mexico State obviously was the top of the mountain there. But yeah, we force a good amount of turnovers defensively, but offensively we give up the ball way too easily. We're very, very careless, and those are things that have to be fixed immediately.
I asked you about this before, but in your head coaching career, you've only had one stretch where you lost more than 2 in a row. That was your first year at Corpus Christi. How do you manage to avoid the long-term drain like that and extend losing streaks? Is there anything in particular?
Well, you have to make adjustments, right? Whether you make adjustments in who's playing, or you make adjustments in how they're playing, or who's handling the basketball, or, if it's on the defensive side, again, who's playing, who's not playing, all of those sorts of things. And there's certainly some adjustments that we'll make moving forward. I would expect Tegan Moore to have more minutes. He played well against UTEP on Saturday night, and he deserves to play, so you go with the older, more experienced guys, but at some point, production always has to win that battle. And if he's a freshman and he's more productive than a senior, then so be it. My job is to make sure that I play the guys that are going to help us win the basketball game, and whether that's different on game 3 or game 23, that's what our staff has got to figure out and make sure that we do.
Talking about Tegan Moore, what's his role going to look like this Thursday against FIU?
He'll play. Does he play 12 minutes? Does he play 2 minutes? Does he play 20 minutes? I don't know. I don't ever guarantee anybody minutes. The guys that are playing well deserve the minutes. The guys that are going to help us win deserve the minutes, and they'll play as such.
Looking forward to FIU. What have you seen from them? What's the film like on them?
Whew, man, they play chaotic. Maybe that's a good word. They're going to press on made baskets, on missed baskets. They run and jump in the half court. They'll trap the post. They do some different things that you don't normally see. I think UTEP was either number 1, 2, or 3 in the country in forcing turnovers. New Mexico State was top 5. Well, FIU's right there. They just do it differently. UTEP and New Mexico State do it more in the half court, and FIU does it more in the full court. So, we've got to take care of the basketball. We on the trip, I think that we had 19 assists against against 18 turnovers against New Mexico State, and then we had 17 assists versus 18 turnovers against UTEP. Well, that doesn't tell you, it's easy math. You got to have more assists than turnovers. And so we've got to value the basketball against FIU, and it's got to be a collective effort. It can't be on Don McHenry and Christian Lander only. The fact of the matter is you didn't have Jalen Jackson and you didn't have Christian on Saturday night, right? Those other guys got to take care of the basketball, and we had way too many turnovers just that, again, were careless mistakes.
And UTEP, it seemed like late the turnovers really big, guys. Really had a stretch. Was that Don off the floor?
Yeah, Don got his 4th foul with right around 5 minutes to go, and we subbed in Tegan at that point and had Brandon, Tyrone, either Baba or Rodney, and then Tegan. I forget who my last guy was. It might have been Dante, but nonetheless, yeah, we turned the ball over 3 out of 4 possessions, and you can't do that under 5 minutes in the game.
You expect this to be a shootout too? You guys come in still number 1 in scoring offense. I think FIU's 3rd. Is this going to be a game that you see in the 90s or even better?
Man, I don't know. I would think that FIU, they're certainly not going to slow things down. One of the reasons that the scores have been so high is because we do turn the ball over, and that makes the game go faster. But with that being said, UTEP plays at a pretty good pace as well. It's not going to be in the 60s, but is it in the 90s? I don't know. I'd like to think that, if we can take care of the basketball and play good defense, that, we can keep it under 90. But, fact of the matter is what we score at New Mexico State, 87. And then what did we score Saturday? 72, 70? I mean, when you score 87 and 70 points, that's enough offense to win. So your problem lies with your defense and your turnovers. I can promise you we'll focus on our defense and turnovers here in the next couple days.
And normally you don't have time post-game to get and look at the next opponent. I assume that you've already done some work on that by you. Anybody in particular that's impressed you?
Well, I mean, Javante Hawkins is as fun a guard to watch as I've seen in a while. He reminds me of the Tandy kid at Jacksonville State. I mean, he can certainly put them in the hole, and then they've got Arturo Duran, who, if I'm not mistaken, is #1 in the country in steals per game. And then, they've got 3 other guards just like him. There are 2 other guards just like him, and they play one big guy, a 7'1" kid, and then they play the Okiki kid, and both those guys are fantastic athletes and can protect the rim and can move. So it's a lot of motion, a lot of movement, a lot of handoffs, a lot of pick and rolls. So it'll put our defense to a test for sure. But they certainly are not shy about shooting the basketball and getting in playing fast offensively.
Now, defensively, are they creating most of their havoc with the press, or like you said?
Yeah. They'll again press on made baskets, missed baskets, free throws, and it's not I don't want to say organized, because that's probably not the word. It's not a zone press. It's a man-to-man press. They'll run and jump out of it. You may take 2 dribbles and nobody comes, and then all of a sudden on the 3rd dribble, they come and trap it. So it's chaotic's a good word probably for it, but it's not, it's not something, did you say that, hey, the 5-man is here, the 4-man is here? It's just not organized like that. Think about VCU back in the day. Think about Shaka Smart at VCU. And Jeremy worked for Shaka, so I would think that a lot of the principles are the same.
Losing 2 conference games in the fashion that you did back-to-back, in the past I could get this Western team down and out for a lot of time, but you coming in, establishing a new culture. For you, how do you keep the guys' composure up when you suffer 2 losses like that, or if there's anything that they need to do with it themselves?
Well, I mean, I've said it to you guys before. I mean, I'm very straightforward and honest and matter of fact with them, and I told them that on Saturday night I thought their effort defensively was good enough to win the basketball game, but you turned it over too much. On Thursday night, your effort wasn't good enough defensively to win the basketball game. It was for 25 minutes, and so there's things that we have to fix. But do I still have the same goals of winning the league, and do I think we can still win this league? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're at home for the next 3 games, so let's get these 3, right? And now you're at, what's that make us? 5 and 3. You're right back in the hunt. I don't think this league, because the league is very good from top to bottom, and there's a lot of parity, and there's a lot of good defensive teams. I think that this league is going to be, someone's not going to go win the league with 2 losses. It's just not going to happen. I think 4 or 5, maybe even 6 losses wins the league. So we've obviously, gotten a little bit behind the 8 ball by losing those 2 on the road last week, but you can even that stuff up if you take care of your business at home. And I'd like to think that the guys, are focused on doing so.
Appreciate y'all.
Yep.